All right. Hey there, nerdpreneurs. Welcome back to Market Like a Nerd. And get ready to geek out with me because today I'm joined by founder of Sexy Boss, Heather Havenwood. Whoop, whoop. Hey, Heather. Welcome to Nerdpreneur Nation.
Thank you. You are definitely a sexy boss. That was a great intro. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. We are so stoked to have you. And for everyone who's listening, just so that you know, today we are talking about how Heather got 200 hours of free publicity and traffic for her business. Ooh, yeah. So first, let me tell you a little bit about Heather, and then we're going to dive into her tips for getting you some free publicity in your business, all right? So Heather Ann Havenwood is a serial entrepreneur and is regarded as a top authority on digital marketing, sales, coaching, and online publishing business strategies. Heather Ann has been named Top 50 Must-Follow Women Entrepreneurs for 2017 by the Huffington Post. She's also called Chief Sexy Boss from her Amazon bestseller book, Sexy Boss, How Female Entrepreneurship is Changing the Rulebook and Beating the Big Boys. Love that. And others call her an icon creator or a wizard behind the curtain. In 2006, she started, developed, and grew an online information marketing publishing company from ground zero to, wait for it, over $1 million in sales in less than 12 months. Starting without a list, a product, a name, or an offer, Heather Ann molded her business partner into a successful guru now known as an expert in his field. She has instructed, coached, and promoted hundreds of entrepreneurs, leading them down the path to success in building a lucrative business from their knowledge and leveraging it online. There we go. That is Heather in a nutshell. Woo! So that's her overview. That's her profesh biography, but I want you to get to know the real Heather. So before we get into the meat of today's episode, let's have some fun. You ready, Heather?
I'm very ready.
All right, let's do this thingy thing. Now, your podcast is called The Win, right? Yeah. So if you could win the lottery or a Lamborghini like Tai Lopez, which would you want?
Ooh, lottery. Total lottery. Because I wouldn't buy a car, right? I would definitely I'd buy like a couple places to ski and snow ski in like Sweden or Colorado. I forget a car. Man.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never understood that. Maybe it's a guy thing. I don't know.
It's a guy thing.
Yeah.
A guy thing. Not interested. I'd rather just keep my Lexus. I'm totally good. I go buy property.
Give me my soccer mom car. I'm cool with that.
Exactly.
Now, people call you the wizard behind the curtain. So, would you rather cast a spell to turn all of your dreams into a reality for one day, or cast a spell to turn just one of your dreams into a reality forever?
The second one, right? So I definitely would turn into one of my dreams. One of my dreams is to have one of my books on a New York bestseller. That's definitely one of my dreams. And the other dream of that, part of that, hopefully it will come from that, is to be on like CNN, Fox News with like Megyn Kelly or someone really big like that, because Oprah's no longer around, right? So someone like really big and being on the show, like, oh my God, I made it, right? So there's an element of that. Hopefully it comes together, but
that's so cool. I was actually just in the car with my husband and we were talking about Tony Robbins because he's not in the coaching industry at all. And I was like, do you know who Tony Robbins is? And long story short, we got to talking about how Tony was in that movie Shallow Hal, like a really long time ago. And I was like, I want to be on TV. I want to be on TV. I want to be a superstar.
I so want to be interviewed by like Megyn Kelly or someone like that. I just, to have a great conversation about female entrepreneurship. Like that's really my goal. And that's the reality I'd want to have happen if I just waved a magic wand.
All right. It will be yours. Now you have a book also called The Game of Dating.
Yes,
right?
I do.
Which is so interesting. Like there's a backstory there. So would you rather be in a bad relationship for the rest of your life or have no significant other for the rest of your life?
No significant other. Yeah. Because I've had both, right? It's always better to do you. You girls, they say, always better to do you girl than be in a bad relationship. Because here's why, on an energetic level, when it's just you and you can really own who you are and own you can go a lot farther in life. But when you're in a bad relationship, that energy can just suck you and suck you down. It's like a really bad, it's like a weight. I just have visualized you're trying to swim up to the ocean to get air and you just got this huge weight on your ankles. So I would definitely say, let it go, let the bad relationship go, and be on your own. Let it go.
All right, finally, and most importantly, you like the term sexy boss, so I'm curious, who do you think is the sexiest biz boss influencer in the coaching industry?
The coach industry. Oh, you got me. Oh my gosh. Well, Tony Robbins definitely is. He's a sexy boss to me. He's a guy. Let's see. Allie Brown, Marie Folio. They're all amazing. I mean, because they really own who they are. I mean, sexy boss to me means two elements as quickly as sexy as the female is owning who they are as a feminine woman, being completely great at being woman. And the boss is owning all areas of their life, like owning, like they're being responsible for everything in their life. So they're all sexy boss. Totally.
My answer, if I was just going for like the sexy part, would totally be Taki Mori. He's in Australia. He is the $1 million, coach marketing machine. Yeah, he's hot stuff.
Well, if you said actors, I'd be like George Clooney. George Clooney's totally a sexy stud.
I like my Clooney. Yeah, but Jason, honey, if you're listening, you were just like the sexiest man ever, so no competition, okay?
Or Jason Statham, one of the favorites. Yeah.
All right, that was so much fun. Thank you. Let's get down to business, though, okay? So, Heather, you told me you were going to share with us today how you got 200 hours of free publicity for your business, right? So let's dive in. Get a little OCD, break it down for us into your 3, maybe 5 main steps or tips that you have for us.
Okay, great. So what I'm going to start with is just the idea of publicity. Like, what is publicity for your business? No matter if you're like a dentist, a chiropractor, if you own a Facebook marketing company, whatever it is, you're constantly getting what we call traffic or publicity. Well, what does that mean exactly? Talking about being on TV? Well, if I had a vision, if I could show you my screen, I'm not going to, but I was on local NBC KXAN here in Austin, Texas, and it was awesome. I had a great time. It was like an Oprah setting. They're sitting down, they're interviewing me, about 2-minute segment. It was awesome. Okay, I had a great time. But here's the problem with being on TV. I got up at 6 a.m. had to get my hair done. Okay, I had to figure out what I was going to wear. Then I get there, and then I had to it was only a 2-minute segment, which is normal for TV. And then I had to give them everything that I wanted them to say. Right. So boom, now I'm on TV. Yeah, but I mean, it's okay. I maybe got a few hits on the website. What I started to do back in August 2015, feel free to ever interrupt me, it's no problem. But what happened is that back in August 2015, I got a call from a friend of mine. It was like, "Hey, you want to be on my podcast?" I'm like, "Sure." So it was just him and I just having this great conversation, stuff that I do every day. And then a week or two later, I got an email and I got a $5,000 coaching client. I went,
not too bad. Not too bad,
right? Sitting there chit-chatting, and then boom, 2 weeks later, I get a $5,000 coaching client. I'm thinking to myself, do more of that. That's all I knew, right? Now, what you need to know, though, before that, 2 years before that, I created a podcast called the Sexy Boss Podcast, and it's what I call in the graveyard of iTunes. It's like... You know what I mean? Like, I did like 4 segments. I had no clue what I was doing. I put them all up at the same day. I'm like, what do I do? Didn't have a microphone, whatever. So it's in the graveyard. You're welcome to go check it out. I don't even know if it still works. So to me, podcasting was done because I'm like, I tried that. It failed. So here I am. I'm on this guy's show. All I do is show up. That was cool. I used my Yeti. Boom, right? I already had that from something else. It was awesome. So my head goes, let's do more of that. So I dove into like really exploring a podcasting, and that was in August 2015. And you're my number 203.
Yeah.
So that's 203 interviews. What that means is I've been on over 200 hours of other people's shows. That means other people's lists. That's what I call affiliate marketing, right? Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. I usually tell people that there's 3 forms of traffic. There's free traffic, paid traffic, and affiliate traffic. Free traffic is usually pretty slow. Paid traffic you got to pay for, but affiliate traffic, that's where the gold is.
It is. And my entire businesses have always been on affiliate traffic, but I never thought podcasting was an affiliate traffic source. I just didn't get it until that moment. And I went, oh my God, boom, I can do this, right? So I just started going hammering and started really going out there and pitching myself. Now, what you need to do, so a couple things, I'll just go back. What you need to know is when I got started in this business, it was 2001 to 2007, I was traveling the country to get in front of like 100 people. What that means is I had to get to the airport, I had to get patted down by TSAA, I had to, get my luggage, get it on the plane, blah, 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 fly wherever to get in front of 100 people. Really? Now I'm hanging out here. I haven't left. I haven't done anything. I still got my coffee downstairs. I didn't pack anything. And I'm hopefully getting in front of more than 100 people. Even if it's 101, even if it's 50, who cares? I don't have to travel. That's the beauty. And I have to get my hair and makeup done. I have to figure out what I'm going to wear. There's all these levels of podcasting that's just brilliant, and I'm intimate and I'm, of course, in front of your audience. This is your audience. And my job is to add value. Okay. So I just want to give you the backstory of why I love being on other people's shows. 1, I want to give value. 2, I want to give, content in my story. But the other piece is I don't have to travel.
I'm with you on that. I can't do the travel. I just can't do it. I'm such an introvert. I'm a homebody. I like being where I'm at. So basically what you're getting at is you didn't just get free publicity for your business. You got free and easy publicity. Yeah,
I really did. And what's so cool about podcasting, right, is the ability, we're going to have a conversation. We might be on here for 20, 30, 40 minutes. I've had up to 60. In TV, it's like 2 minutes. You get 2 minutes, that's it. Maybe, if you're lucky, right? So that's the beauty of podcasting. It's way more intimate and it's a conversation. It's not a pitch. Like my job is not to come out here and pitch you or your audience. My job is to share, add value, and have a conversation. So let me share with you a little bit. What happened? Okay. So by the way, in 2015, I didn't have a list at the time. I didn't. I had no media page, which I do now. I didn't have a one sheet. I didn't have a product. I didn't have a message. I had nothing. I was in another business, and he called me like, "Hey, your dating business. Like, can we talk about it?" And I was like, "Sure." Right. And then I get a call like, "Hey, can you teach me that? I'll pay you a lot of money." I'm like, sure. Like, that's how it went.
Yeah. And I think this is really great for you to mention too, because there's a lot of people who think they have to have a lot in place in order to get publicity, and you really don't. I remember when I wanted to get on Entrepreneur on Fire, because that's like the big entrepreneur podcast, right? And there was someone who told me like, no, you should get a lot of podcasts under your belt first before you pitch them. And I don't think you're ready for it. And I was like, fuck that. So I just pitched them and I got on Entrepreneur on Fire. So you don't have to have like the world in place. You can start with very little and still be very successful with it.
Absolutely. There's a couple of things I know from a female perspective, and I'm going to go into this, that is most challenging when I hear from women. And that is, here's the psychology. And I don't know if you can relate. I know that I can. I'm a little older than you, but I was taught at a very young age, because I was taught from the Southern mother of like, don't invite yourself to the party. Right. So if if you're invited to the party, you can go, but don't invite yourself to the party. So if like my girlfriend Jenny's having a party and I'm not invited, I'll stay home and cry. That was what I was taught to do. Right.
Yeah.
And then as an entrepreneur, it's like, go out and fail, or go out and just put yourself out there. And I'm like, but my mom told me I have to be invited. So part of this is allowing yourself to invite yourself to the party. Like that's what you did. You're like, hello, I'm inviting myself. Knock, knock, knock. EO Fire. What's up? I'm here. That's what you did. And that's very counterintuitive for women. Men, they show up with a pack of beer and a hot chick and they're like,
what's up, bro?
What's up, bro? Whatever. Women's like, I can't believe you came and you weren't invited. Whatever. Right? All that goes on. And that goes on in our head too. So part of this was me getting out there going, knock, knock, knock.
I grew up in a family of boys, so I guess I didn't get the memo that that's the way women are.
Right, exactly. That was a huge advantage for you. But that's what happens counterintuitive. Here you are, an entrepreneur, and I'm literally knocking on doors going, hey, Like, you got a party. Can I come to your party? It's your party. Can I come on? I mean, that's really what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And then I'm on top of your party going, hey, let me add value to you. I mean, that's really what it is. It's very counterintuitive for most people if they're not like extremely extrovert.
Yeah.
So it's kind of what you're doing. You have to kind of get over that. So how I did that is I said, okay, I want it to be easy for people to say yes to me or no to me, like really quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I did is I created my media page, heatherhavenwood.com/media. I want you to go there and I want you to rip me off. Do it. I literally, how I structured my media page is designed for you, right? Literally designed for you as a host to look at it and know right then. Yes, no.
Yeah.
Yes, no, right? Because you got time. You're like, I don't have time to do a bunch of research on this girl. Yes, no. Does she fit? Not fit. Got to go. So the idea of a media page is really for the host. It's really to give you everything that you need to get yes to you or no to you quickly, right? Easily, effortlessly.
Oh, the other thing I love about those is you'll notice as you start doing more publicity, you've got to constantly send stuff to the host of the show. And rather than having to like write that up every single solitary time or copy and paste it, just be like, all right, go to this page.
Yeah.
It's all on this page.
Yeah. I mean, people ask me, I need a high res. I need the bio. I'm like, one link,
yes.
one link. Everything's there. Click, right click, save.
So much easier.
Right? It's so much done. And it's also, you can get there. You know exactly my talking points. You know what and I've had people say no to me. I'm like, totally awesome. I've also had people who was on a radio show once that they do sports. Like, okay, I'll be on. What are we going to talk about? You know what I mean? And they're these guys, and it was totally fun. But you never know what people are going to invite you. I had been on one that's only talking about actors. I'm like, I'm not an actor, but I can act like one. You know, like whatever we need. So the point of podcasting is one exposes you to so many amazing people. But the key is, what are you doing? What did I do for 200 episodes? I'm getting free publicity. And people are listening, and they either like me or they don't, or I add value or I don't. My goal is I add value to your people, right? And at the same time, I get to share my story. I get to share my case studies and basically you can do the same thing. That's my point to you. This is how you geek out on this. Now, so tip number 1 is you get started and you start to reach out. But the first thing is a media page. That's what I call a baseline. You know what I mean? Baseline of getting started is just have a media page. You can literally have no other page other than the media page, right? You can just have that. And if it's really good and it shares a story, people all the time bring me on and say, I know you're successful at this, but really what I want to hear is your story. And I get to share it. So that's the key piece. That's the first one, is get started. So, and the tip of that is make it easy for the host for them to say yes to you.
With the media page. Beautiful. Which you can see the example at heatherhavenwood.com/media. Okay. So that's step 1. Once you have that in place, what do you do next?
Step 2. Before I get to step 2, the step 1, the reason why it's super clear on my media page of what I am, what I'm not, is because a confused mind never buys. All right. So you have to make sure you're clear on what your message to market is versus like, I can talk about anything. No. It's got to be like succinct, right? If not, it's like, well, I don't know what she's going to talk about. Boom, she's done. So you have to be clear about that. Confusion mind never buys. All right. The next thing is tools. I mean, that's really simple, right? We're talking right now. If you're looking at us with these really awesome microphones, they're like on our desk. And you're like, oh my God, I don't have all that. No problem. You can get a Yeti. They're like $90 on Amazon. You get a used one. That's what I had for the first 100.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I did. And let me say this to you. I'm a huge proponent of all businesses to be on a podcast for at least 30 before they even think about starting their own show.
I did it the complete opposite way, and I learned a lot in the process, and I had to like redo a lot of things on my show.
You know, I just, for me, after doing 150 of being a guest, I said, okay, I'm ready to have my own show. What did I get to do out of 150? I got to have what I call in the green room, you know what I mean? With hosts like you in the after and before the green room, I got to ask questions like, what are you using? What's the software? What's the best thing to do? Well, I got to emulate them, and they would give me tips. Oh, don't do that. I tried that. Oh, that sucks. You know what? You need to get better. And I took their advice, changed. Then I was like, you know what? Now I know what it takes to really create a podcast. After 150, just this last year, June 2016, I launched my number 2 podcast, right? So I just really believe that. And I think that's just a really critical piece.
Yeah. Beautiful. So you got your media page in place. Yeah. Then you got your tools so that you could actually do a good job on the podcast and have it be a high quality. So in your case, your first one was the Blue Yeti microphone. I think when I started it was the ATR 2100. They're both pretty inexpensive. Like just go on Amazon and type in Blue Yeti or ATR 2100 and you'll find really inexpensive options for mics. Then at that point, it sounds like you've got all of the like stuff in place.
Yeah.
So what did you do in terms of actions to actually secure the interviews, and how did you leverage the interviews for your business?
Okay, great. So great question. So the action 3 is basically what I call getting booked, aka selling oneself. Now that's where everyone shuts down. Now we all both know because we were connected by a company that does it for a living. It's part of a service. And yes, I did sign up with them at the beginning, but believe me, they did not do, 200. Okay. I did, I would say 70% of the 200. And then they also did so many as well.
Yeah,
okay?
And I usually recommend doing it that way. When I did a lot of my podcast interviews, we actually have a similar story. I did the same thing. I went and I did a bunch of pitches myself so that I knew the process and could more effectively delegate it to someone else.
Yes, exactly. I'm now in the process of hiring someone on my team to delegate that. Okay. On top of the service. I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? So that's when you start learning to pitch yourself, you learn so much. I think there's a big problem because people start to say, well, I'm going to hire a PR firm to do that. Man, you learn a lot when you pitch yourself.
Yes,
when you start to sell yourself, you figure out what works, what doesn't work, what they don't like about you. Like, oh, I don't like that. I'm like, okay, well, I won't say that anymore. You know what I mean? Or let me twist these words. We are really looking for this. I'm like, well, I can't fit that. Or, I do that. I just didn't tell you about it, So you start to really learn how to do your bio. My bio that you're seeing today, if you go to my media page, is like, I don't know, I think I'm on 3rd edition. And the reason that is because one, I'm evolving as always, but at the same time, it's like I'm really learning what's in the marketplace and I'm knowing my niche better. Right. So I know how to talk to them and I know what kind of shows I want to be on. So I can make sure that I'm really reaching that particular audience, because what you need to know is I have 4 other businesses. I got a supplement company.
Oh, you're an entrepreneur whore. I love it.
Right. I'm an entrepreneur whore. So, but I know that some people aren't going to have me on for that, and so I have to really make sure the message to market's right. Make sense?
Yes, absolutely. You've got to know who you're pitching to and then learn how to craft the pitches to suit their needs.
Yes, exactly. Because you know who you want on your show and not. You know. And as a host, what's interesting is now I've turned the tables, right? Is I'm starting to get pitched, right? And it drives me nuts when I have someone that I know they didn't even look anything at me, or it's a blind pitch, or like, come on, like
actually, I think I remember that about your pitch or the company that pitched you. This was the one thing that stood out. Actually, they said geek out with Heather, and I was like, oh, all right. They want to geek out with me. That totally, like, they at least listen to the first minute of my show.
Yeah. And I do listen to people's shows, and I can tell when someone has no clue or they're not prepared. Like I just had someone the other day, and this is not dissing on them, but I just want you to know, like, not to do it this way, right? Is I got some random person via Facebook, we're not even friends, messaged me and said, hey, I love your podcast. Can I be on? And I'm like, is that a pitch? Do you have a meeting page? Do you ever want?
You want to give me some more information?
Yeah, like I'm not even going to go there. I'm like, no, so you have to be prepared. It's a pitch. It's like, this is who I am. This is what I do. I know this is what you are. I think we're a fit because here's the connection. Here's how I can add value. Here's my media page. And then let it go. It's a really key piece. Now, the last part, that getting booked, about selling yourself. Here's a couple of tips. 1, be clear on your message. What are you selling? What are you selling? It's key. Now, you talked about my dating book. I don't put it in the forefront because some people get turned off by that. But I do put it on there. And the people that find it go, oh, what's that? Let's talk about that. And I'm like, great, because I know that not everyone's going to have me on for the dating side. Right? And I totally understand that. But I allow them to see it, They want to see it. Right. The other thing is you got to unravel your own stories about self-promotion. People want to outsource that. Like, I want you to sell me. I'm like, you've got to sell you first.
Right.
Then when you sell you, you know how to train someone else to sell you.
Yeah, people like to skip steps, and that is not a step to skip. Definitely not. And when I get people back and say, hey, they said no to you, I'm like, okay, great. Tell me why they said no. And they'll tell me, I'm like, you know what? What's missing is this piece. Go back and see. And if they still say no, take the no problem. But you got to make sure you're taking the time to make sure they know, what they're listening for. They're listening. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3, again, this is back to this first tip. Have it easy for people to say yes to you. Again, 1 page, simple. The other part is create a time-tested template to reach out to all the PR. So I have a template. Yeah,
me
too.
It doesn't look like a template though, So some of the things I have on there, right? 1, I have my media page. Okay. 2, I have my video on there, me speaking to the KXAN, just because it's there. It's another view of me. And then I have 2 other podcasts, there's only 2 other podcasts that I was on, like somebody else interviewing me on the podcast. So they can hear, if they want to, they can hear
an example,
someone else interviewing me. Right. And the shows are like way different, like super, super different. So they're like, oh, she did that. And that's really different.
You know what I noticed too about this is really, really great for the people you're pitching yourself to, because they get to see all of this in one place and determine whether or not you're a good fit. But the other thing that happens is when you have this on your site, all of your prospects and your community members, they come to your site. And what ends up happening is they'll go through the media page. They'll go through it. They'll look at it, and you will look like a freaking authority.
Yep. That's absolutely true. Absolutely. That's completely. And that's what I wanted to make sure is that I look like an authority. And I mean, I am. It sounds like I'm lying. I'm not.
But you got to look like it, because you can't just say you are. Yeah.
I mean, in there, where I just had one today. And again, this is not dissing, but it's lessons. I want you to not do these, people. So I'm telling you. So I had someone today while I was interviewing. Okay. And their bio was in the first person. So it said things like, James, blah, blah, blah. So in the moment, because I don't know about you, but I don't read the bios before. Like, I just kind of read them in the moment. So I'm having to, in the moment, change the word from I to James. James went to blah, blah, versus says I went to blah, blah, blah high school or whatever it was, right? Or I'm an author of this book. I had to go, my brain had to say, James is the author of this book or whatever it was. So let me just put it out there. Put your bio in the third person.
Yes, 100%.
Simple. It's out there.
So, okay. So let's go back. So let's go back to this story. So you got your media page set up. You identified who you were going to pitch to, made yourself desirable. You crafted a template for your pitches that talked about your core message. After researching the media outlets to see what they wanted, you sent them a pitch that followed a certain template but was customized based on the needs of that podcast. Sent it out. If you got to know, you got to know, but you got 200 yeses. How did you leverage the interviews themselves to lead to what are some of the results that you got from this traffic?
So I've gotten a couple clients out of it. Almost all my clients right now came from podcasting. They hear me and there's something about the story. They're like, oh, I like her. Or, oh, what's that? And then I send people to go to heatherhavenwood.com, click on work with Heather. And I just tell them, go click on that and let's get on a phone call. We have a conversation because, again, I have 4 other businesses online and coaching something that I'm really passionate about. So I tell them that, and it's true. And I have them go and then get on the phone. That's how I've leveraged it to its extent. And then, of course, list building, right? Of course, always. The other piece, and I'm going to be giving this to your audience as well, is at the end of every show, I give them a free offer. And the offer is 3 free audio chapters of my book, Sexy Boss. And I'll do that here in a second when we're done. And that's a way, again, opting in. But I want them to get to know me. I know they listen to me audio, so I'm going to give them 3 chapters of my audio book. Ooh. Why? If they're listening to podcasting, they're audible.
That is really smart. Yeah, you are giving a congruent gift based on the platform that people are finding you on. Oh my gosh, that is such a good tip.
I'm an audio listener. I am. That's why I like podcasts. Okay. Most people who are listening to podcasts are the same. That's why they like podcasts. So why not give them something they're already similar to? Good. Now, where did I learn this from? I learned this from the seminar business. The seminar business would always say, when you're in the seminar, you sell them more seminars. Right?
Yeah.
Right? That's when you sell seminars. When you get them in the room in a seminar, you sell them what? More seminars. Why? Because they like them. They're there.
Well, Heather, then like stop hitting at it. Just tell us how can we get it? We want more audio from you.
Sure. So I'll give you 2 ways to do it. This is exactly how I say it to people. You're welcome to rip it off as well. They go to either sexybossinc.com. They opt in. They get 3 free audio chapters of my book, Sexy Boss, or they can text the word sexy to 72,000 S72000. Text the word sexy 72,000. So, if you're right now listening to this show and you're on the treadmill, feel free to text the word sexy to 72,000, right? Or if you're driving, don't do that. Okay. So that's how you do it. Now that number, the mobile's only in the U.S. Super sorry if you're out of the U.S. Don't know why. Don't understand. Go to the website instead. So, but that's what I tell people. That's my list building, right? So let me show you with one thing. So if you go to iTunes right now and type my name in, you'll see about 2 pages right now of other shows I've been on. Okay. What's cool about podcasting is evergreen.
Yeah.
It's evergreen. They're up there forever. And that link building is awesome.
Well, so that's also that also makes it important that you remember the links that you're giving in the podcast interviews and make sure that the links are evergreen.
Yes. Absolutely. Mine are evergreen. But the links are evergreen. Link back is evergreen. If you go to iTunes, type my name in, that's pretty impressive. Some people are like, whoa, that's a lot. That's impressive. That's a publicity piece. Wow, look at how much she's been on, right? There's a credibility aspect to that in publicity world. So these are all important things about publicity. Now, when I'm right now in the conversation called Now I Want to Go on TV, and I'm in a lot of conversations about what that looks like, as well as being on contributor on Entrepreneur. However, I make sure this was done to such an extent the credibility's foundation has been created for me.
Yeah, this is the thing that I've noticed about publicity myself is there's kind of 2 main results of this. There's the short-term results and there's the long-term results. The short-term is you get traffic that goes to your offer so that you can build your list and you can get to know people right now. The long-term benefit of doing publicity is it is a credibility builder. It's an authority builder. So people see you as an authority, and what happens is it makes the sales easier later on. When people see you as an authority, you're getting them to the yes becomes more seamless. So there's a lot of long and short-term benefits to doing this. And now you guys know how to do that because Heather shared with us how. So thank you so much, Heather.
You're welcome. And the only thing I'm gonna leave you with just a saying that I have, and 100. I want to give you permission right now. 100% license to fail. And when you give yourself 100% license to fail, that equals 100% license to succeed. Right? So just go out there. Don't worry about it. What I don't say. Don't worry about it. Just show up.
Be okay with getting no's, because for every no, you're going to get another yes. You'll be fine. All right, beautiful. Thank you so much, Heather. So, guys, Nerdpreneur Nation, there you have it. Our podcasting publicity superhero has swooped in to save the day. To grab her 3 audio chapters for free of her book, head on over to Sexy Boss
Inc. Yes.
.com?
Don't go to this one. Yeah, sexyboss.com I think is a porn site, so don't do that. Sexybossinc.com. Inc. Make sure you add that inc.com.
Yes, let's avoid the porn. And if you guys need it, the link will be in the show notes, okay? Yeah. All right, there we go. Thank you so much, Heather, for being here. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. And thank you guys for listening. We hope you learned a lot. We can't wait to hear where these tips take you, and we'll catch you next time on Market Like a Nerd. Have a nerdtastic day, guys. Bye.